Hello there gamers, my name is Spectre and today we're going to be talking about the research system inside of Scavengers. I'm going to be telling you guys how to get all the resources you need as efficiently as possible, as well as talking about nanites and how to deconstruct effectively, what types of salvage you're going to want to loot, and what order you're going to want to research things in to be as optimal as possible. So as always, I'd appreciate you guys if you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel for more Scavengers guides in the future. If you guys see anything that I'm doing wrong, always comment. I love to learn, and if I could be doing something better, I want to be telling you guys about that. So without further ado and without further intro, we're going to get started. So the research system in Scavengers can look quite complex if you're just starting out, but it's really fairly simple to get a hold of once you are in the game and playing regularly. So it's basically going to work in a system like this. You're going to be playing your matches, and the better you do, the more you loot and the harder enemies you kill, the better salvage you'll have the opportunity to grab. So if you get stuff like orbitals and sluka, you're going to be getting gold and purple tiered salvage as opposed to green salvage that you get off of bloat biles, or blue salvage that you would get off an outlander. So the higher tier salvage, the better materials that you're going to get towards your crafting. So it's definitely important to hit orbitals and stuff like that to get that better salvage so that you can craft better. Once you get these materials, you're going to use them to craft. So different projects require different materials, and you're going to need to acquire any sort of material that you need before you even think about doing a research project, as well as something called power that I'll cover in a second. Once you get the resources that you need, you're going to be able to craft things, but if you can't get the resources that you need in-game, you can deconstruct materials, and then nanites may be reclaimed from salvage materials. So once you get those nanites, you can use them to craft any material that you may need, but here's a warning that you get very diminished returns off of getting nanites out of materials, so you should really stay clear unless you have a large bulk of a certain material that you're trying to get rid of. So, talking about power, as you guys can see, I have 199 power. Yours might show differently, but what this means is that I have leveled up my account. So as you level your account, you'll get chips and additional power, and that's how they control you researching too fast. So if you don't have enough power, you can't even start researching certain things. For example, for tier 3 research, you need to have 180 power, and I think you start with maybe 100, 120, something like that. So it'll take you a while to level up and get to there if you're just starting out. If you haven't done so already, the first step to starting with research is clicking here on all your salvage, and you're going to click the open button and just spam it out if you haven't done anything with it so far, and that'll get all your resources into this screen right here. So if you don't have a lot of resources, again, the better stuff that you loot in game, stuff like orbital supply drops and sluka, will give really premium salvage. That'll give really premium resources, and you'll see your resources fill up super fast. Another thing that's important to know about research in this game is the more you research, the more it opens things up. So for the first tier of research, all you'll have access to is this first row right here. When you get the second tier of research, you'll get access to the second tier, third tier, fourth tier, fifth tier, and that's actually it. And it's the same thing for components. So the way that components work is you're basically going to have to craft these out of the materials, and they're going to go into the craft fully instead. So if you have a ton of materials, you're going to take those materials and turn them into components, and those components are going to go into crafting stuff like weapons that are going to give you advantages in game. Let's say that you're going through your resources and you're really having trouble getting a certain thing, like let's say resin. What you're going to want to do is deconstruct things that are cheaper to construct in the long run. So something like a muskland is 800 nanite, if you see right here. Rare earth magnet is 800 nanite, so you're going to want to hang on to those. But something like graphite is only 400, and everything in the same tier always deconstructs for the same amount of nanite. So let's say I was about to deconstruct material like alloy, and this costs 400 to craft, and I was going to deconstruct this one. This costs 800 to craft. They will both give me 200 nanite no matter what I do. So for some reason, these are more expensive than the rest of them, and you're not going to want to deconstruct these. You have to be careful about what you're deconstructing because some of them cost more than others. Like, for example, meteoric alloy, muskland, and rare earth magnet all cost 800, which is the same as the tier below them, but they only deconstruct to 200, which is really a rip-off in the long run. So unless you have a lot of these, I wouldn't recommend deconstructing them, and I would stick to deconstructing the cheaper 400s or the 100s. When you're doing your research projects, if you're super early and you're still on tier 1, I'm going to just quickly go over what you're going to need to craft to get to tier 2. So you're going to craft the sidekick, the snowpiercer, the MK29 frag grenade, and the thermal boost. After you do that, you're going to need to click right where tier 2 research is, or it's tier 4 research for me in this case, and you're going to need to gather the materials for the upgrade for your research. So it'll be available here, and as you can see, it takes 120 power, 6 copper, 2 crystallized hydrate, 4 glass, 3 minerals, and 6 silicon. And once you have that, you can research a second research station. So as you guys start out, you will only have this one research station. Once you research the second one, you'll have 2 research stations, so you can do 2 things at the same time. Once you get the third one, 3 things at the same time, 4 things at the same time, 5 things at the same time. Once you do that, you'll get access to the first row of talents for all of your explorers, as well as some other items like the ammo crate, the Proxima grenade, 2 more wildcard weapons, the Opus and the Quicksilver. The Opus is a fairly balanced weapon and it's pretty decent, and the Quicksilver is really pretty good, in my opinion, for an early tier wildcard craftable weapon. Once you get to tier 3 research, you'll get access to your first set of signature weapons. So you'll get 1 signature weapon for each character. These are all huge improvements on the original signature weapon that you'll see. So once you get access to this, I would recommend crafting this as soon as possible. But basically, the order that I would go into is, if you're trying to speed run to tier 5 research, is you're going to craft the things that require the least amount of resources as possible and the least amount of time to try and get those projects up faster, because for each research tier you need to complete a certain amount of projects more than the previous one. So for example, research 2 was like 5 projects, research 3 is like 10 projects, research 4 is 20 projects, and research 5 is 40 projects. So as you commit to researching, you're going to want to do as many projects as possible and have a project going at all times if you can. Some of these easy projects would be all the talents only require bionic augmentation 1 and normally only 1 or 2 other materials, and these all count as research projects. So if you're trying to speed run getting to tier 4, tier 5 research as fast as possible, you're just going to craft a ton of talents. And as well, these talents can be pretty good, and some of them really change the outlook on the game. So what you're going to do is craft the ones that you think are important. So let's say I play Kali a lot and I wanted to get Fresh Mag. I'd have to craft Rampage anyway, so you're going to clear out the first row of any character that you play, so that you're ready for tier 3 and tier 4 when they come around. Alright, so that was a quick pass through on research for the game. I hope I've explained everything. If I haven't explained something, feel free to leave a comment on anything that I missed. This has been Spectre. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.